gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of It's Not That Deep, Bro! And we're back. Episode 42. We're keeping it large right now because we have another special guest who has been on already. It's Liam Cook. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Fantastic. Never better.
We're mixing up our format a little bit this week, aren't we, Martin?
We are.
We've actually already seen the film.
That's right. We went to the cinema. This is the first time.
Since Rise of the Skywalker.
Yeah.
Which was, episode... It was like episode 9 or 10, I think.
Was it?
It was early on.
It was early on.
It was early on in our...
You're going to look it up?
I'm just going to have a glance, yeah. Because it's been over 10 episodes since we've been to a cinema. But I thoroughly enjoyed our big return. It was episode 8.
It was episode 8.
Episode 8.
Damn, and we're on 42 now. Wow, that was a long time ago.
Time flies.
When you're having fun.
So
we've already seen the film, right? It's a film called Nobody by... Olin, take the stage.
I'm going to really...
Hard to pronounce name.
I'm going to really butcher this.
Ilya.
Thank you, Liam. Ilya Naishuller.
Wow.
Naishuller.
Where's he from?
Ilya Naishuller.
Ilya Naishuller. And he is from Russia, I believe.
And he's
Russian
the
man.
director of Hardcore Henry. Have you seen that, Martin?
I have not. What is that?
You need to watch that. That's like a... I don't think it was very well received, although I enjoyed it. It's like a first-person... You know, first-person shooters?
Yeah.
It's all filmed in first person. It's like it's not based on a video game, but it's like a video game film where he's just fighting people. Like, it's even got, like, NPCs, basically, who just, like, appear... like in a massive fucking tank out of nowhere, you know,
and then
just
disappear.
point him in that direction, like that's where the and then
that's where the action's happening.
Yeah, and then fucks off for like half an hour, and then just randomly, it's literally like a
like
a video game.
Cool idea.
Yeah, and I think
Hardcore Henry,
and it's very violent, and I liked it. It was an exercise in bad taste.
May have to have a look at that.
Yeah,
actually,
we'll pop it on the list. Maybe some point we'll get round to it. I guess. I'm aware of this film, Nobody, because it's got Bob Odenkirk in it, who...
He's
Saul
famously known
as
for...
Saul from Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. But I guess that's not really why I know Bob Odenkirk. I know Bob Odenkirk because he's like the reason Tenacious D exists.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. He wrote all of... Obviously, they're like a comedy band. And... he wrote kind of the sketches that became the songs for that first album.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And then he also was big in... Do you know who Chris Farley is, Liam?
I am aware, but I've definitely...
Heard his name.
Yeah.
He was from Saturday Night Live, and he was like a heavy-set gentleman.
Yeah.
But he was very energetic, and he would, like, cartwheel onto chat show appearances and shit like that. And his famous bit was a motivational speaker that would come round to your family's house to inspire your kids not to do drugs and not to... Because if you do drugs, you'll end up living in a van down by the river! And Bob Odenkirk wrote that van down by the river bit. So he's like a renowned comedy writer, basically.
Yeah, I just knew him... Well, I knew him from Breaking Bad. But past that, I knew him from that Mr. Show, I think.
Mr. Show, yeah.
With David Cross.
David Cross, yeah.
Who is in Arrested Development, which is also amazing.
Have we ever spoke about Arrested Development?
I think briefly, only... But I don't want to talk about it
until
you've
Arrested
actually watched it.
Okay.
You need to watch it, because I know...
It's just a confusing development cycle.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's the name of the film.
It's a show.
And
Show.
It pauses and there's breaks in it, and then series... This is like the third or fourth series is presented in a very odd manner.
Don't bother with anything after season 3. the original run.
So the show
I've
just
never
ends.
watched season 4.
So you've not watched any of the new.
Well, season 4 came out like 7 years later, so it does end.
Okay.
In fact, it ends satisfyingly, and season 4 just fucking brings it out again for no reason. It ends satisfyingly. I think it was cancelled, but it's one of those scenarios where they knew it was cancelled, and
I like enough elements of that show to go back and watch it again. Will Arnett, I just find infinitely funny. He makes me laugh. Job.
It's got so many like hidden like running jokes that you catch. Just every time you rewatch it, you catch more. Sort of
David
thing.
Cross, Tobias.
Yeah, he's like the most ridiculous character in TV history.
So is this like a funny TV series?
Yeah.
Everything David Cross says is like a sexual innuendo, but he is completely unaware.
Yeah. He's like a pathetic human being.
Yeah.
Tobias.
The iconic
A pathetic human being.
the iconic meme of it is he's got this condition where he can't be naked ever. He has to wear these cut-off shorts underneath his boxer shorts or whatever.
And then shower like that.
And yeah, I mean, there's a clip of it's probably been turned into a meme, a clip of him like crying in the shower, like in cut-off shorts sort of thing, like because he's not got a job.
He struggles
He is pathetic.
He struggles to express his sexuality.
Yeah, he's a homosexual for sure,
It seems that way.
but he's in denial. But he's always spotted around all the gay bars and kind of like Mac
From
from
Sunny.
Sunny.
Yeah.
Before he comes out.
It's similar to that vibe. But
So,
to get back
Sorry.
on the path of this film,
that's right.
that Bob Odenkirk is the person who plays Hutch.
Hutch Mansell.
Mansell, yeah. Hutch Mansell. So, Liam, because you are the guest, what did you think of the film? I know you already watched it.
Yeah, this is your second viewing.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of this film.
Why?
Same.
Why is that?
Same.
Well, it's just a incredibly satisfying film, and it's made by the same team, I believe, who made the John Wick films. If anyone's seen
No
them,
wonder.
Yeah.
That.
so the action's
It was so good.
yeah, the action's incredible. It's all just very crisply shot and in camera, not like wildly edited, and it's got what was that? Lost my train of thought.
Does it have someone in that you thought was of note? I mean, the first thing I said when I walked out was
I know.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how fluid the man still is.
How old is he?
He's got to be. I'm sure when he did Back to the Future, like he was like 45.
45?
Yeah.
So he's got to be like...
He's like older
and that's like
than
35 years ago. So
Doc is meant to be.
So he's like 80, I reckon.
Christopher Lloyd is fucking 82 years old.
Yeah,
Jesus
I knew it.
Christ. What about the guy
RZA.
who... Huh?
The rapper RZA.
Oh, the RZA.
No.
Is
Yeah,
that what it
yeah.
is? That how you say that?
Yeah.
I'm clearly very out of touch with the.
The leader of the Wu-Tang Clan.
Really?
Yes, the RZA.
I never fucking knew that.
He's acted.
No.
He has an acting career. But yes,
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about, Martin, the Russian man.
No, the Russian man. The guy he did Back to the Future with. How old is he?
Oh, how
Martin
old is...
J. Fox, is that his name? Martin? No,
it's
Michael
Michael.
J. Marty is
Michael
his
J.
character's
Fox. Yeah, and then he's Marty McFly. Michael J. Fox has Parkinson's, and it's not been a fun time for him.
I reckon he's 65.
60.
Oh, he's only 25 in that then.
Yeah, and he's 23 years younger than Christopher Lloyd. But Christopher Lloyd was popping moves in that film.
He was.
But
Did
what-
you see them moves, bro? Look.
I saw him dual wielding two shotguns and fucking literally blowing people off their feet. Literally off their feet.
Literally off their feet.
Like through the roof almost.
Yeah.
So, Martin, what did you think of this?
No. What did you think? You go first.
You know, there's a reason why I structure things the way I structure them.
Why?
Just because I feel...
He's going to give a controversial opinion.
He is.
I don't... No, not to the film, but there's a reason that I structure my opinion to be last in the proceedings of how we ask people opinions on this show.
Why?
And that's because I feel like my point of view is encapsulating. Like it's always wider, where you'll talk about things that are like straight up in your face in the film. Mine is the wider take that allows us to maneuver us into the ending of the show.
But then it doesn't matter where.
There's no issue.
There is no issue.
My take on the film would be, I thought it was good. I liked the film. It was
very articulate.
Well, just basic thoughts. I shall go deeper.
Yeah, please.
I thought it's like a 6.5 out of 10 or like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
For me.
I'm probably around 7 or 7.5.
I like very much how the crime that you see at the beginning of the film he doesn't respond to, and it's made out in his local community that he's a bit of a pussy for not doing that and like he's let his family down. But really, the motivation for not doing that is because he's a fucking animal and he didn't want to open that can of worms in front of his family and
That's right.
show them all of that. So that,
and because he knew that their gun was empty, as it was revealed later, and they weren't a real threat. So
he didn't need to even do that.
Yeah, and also I would argue that it wasn't like there was no point in doing it because he's a fucking, like you said, he's an animal. That wouldn't have been any sport because he would have just fucking annihilated them. Like,
Definitely.
They're amateurs.
Yeah.
But the vibe...
Very, very well improvised.
The vibe that you get at the beginning of the film is that he is like the classic overworked, kind of apathetic soy boy.
Yeah.
Basically, like he misses his bins every day, and he's life. He used to have the glory days, and he's reminiscing back to then. But really, he's not. He doesn't want to go back.
No,
to
he doesn't.
The early days at all. He just wants to fucking
have a happy family.
He wants that domestic life.
And
which from a killer.
well, he thinks he wants it. What?
But
Yeah.
There is that side. He does love it. He
does love
the
it.
game like it's great. Like it, and then I guess it's interesting to think about his dad.
No, you carry on. Sorry.
Well, his dad just says at the end, like, I tried that retirement life, but I much prefer this.
Yeah.
The film felt like a celebration of like a midlife crisis, or like just a celebration of like surface level pleasures, and it wasn't like ashamed to be.
No, I think I agree. Like the reason it's called Nobody, people keep asking him like, "Who are you?"
Yeah,
I'm just a nobody.
Yeah,
and that ties in with the whole midlife crisis. Like this place you can get to in the middle of your life where you're just another
nobody,
another average Joe.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like Joker for the you know what I mean? They've probably got all that aggression built up inside them just from the everyday stresses of life. But and it's bit gory.
Yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah, man.
There were points.
I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah.
What do you like about gore and violence?
What do I like about it? The gore and violence. I don't know. It's just.
How does it make you feel?
Depends on the execution.
In this specific film.
Yeah. So like, the way he did things were like, he never really used guns from like at the start. Do you know what I mean? He always used a certain weapon or like, just
the environment.
The environment. Yeah, like just a piece of chair. Yeah.
It's like Deadpool. It reminded me.
And it just looks.
It
looks cool as fuck. So obviously that comes with like how gory it is because you have to see all that shit. Like that whole fucking C4.
The Claymore.
The Claymore. That's it. Yeah. It's just great.
I think you actually, and what about the bit when he cuts the guy's throat because the guy stops breathing and he doesn't want to kill him, so he cuts his throat and is it called a catheter? It's a makeshift. No, that's what it's a makeshift tracheotomy or whatever they call it when you cut someone's throat a little bit because they can't breathe and
Put a straw.
Well, they
Yeah.
say you can do that in an emergency. If you've got like a biro pen, you can take the thing out of it and stab
Yeah,
that into
that's
someone's
the
windpipe.
that's the classic that I'm aware of. Yeah.
I mean,
And he shoves a straw down. He cuts some guy's throat open and he shoves a straw in it. That was the bit that stuck out to me as like the most violent.
It very took me back to Kick-Ass, like with its over-the-top violence.
Yeah, but I'm not a fan of Kick-Ass personally,
not?
so that's why I'm like
I think that
about
film's
to
pretty,
protest.
I think that film's pretty well put together, and
yeah,
it's like very.
it's got a lot of fans, so it's just me really.
The
but-
fighting scenes in those films it reminded me of it too, because like just how tightly edited, like that bus scene was something straight out of Scott Pilgrim or fucking
Yeah.
Kick-Ass or something like that.
it is Kick-Ass you're talking about.
Yeah, but then I'm saying that the bus scene in this film, nobody was like Kick-Ass
Oh,
or Scott
right.
Pilgrim.
I think the violence in this film was good because I feel like you could actually feel it, sort of thing. It was like,
Yeah.
I heard a lot of people. Both times I've seen it, because I've seen it twice now. There was a few like gasps, sort of thing, from behind me when like,
Certain things happen.
yeah, and it was like, and every punch had like a proper thud to it,
Yeah.
sort of thing. Like you could actually feel.
You kind of got to see a lot of the follow-throughs of stuff that in glossier action films would be
Yeah.
cut. Like when he got thrown through the bus window and it kind of lingered on him like lying on the floor. And
Yeah.
like, I think that probably like the average Joe midlife crisis thing we were talking about
Yeah.
even translates into the fight scenes.
Yeah,
Like it's quite a real film.
he
It weirded me out a little bit when he did all that and just went back home and it was like nothing. I was like, already at age, I was like, this guy's
he's
into
a
some
protected
weird
man.
shit.
He's a protected man. I can imagine the police getting there and being like, "This is Hutch Mansel's work. Let's
Yeah.
just fucking put it under the rug."
That's it.
But obviously, he didn't realise that he was messing with
The Russians.
with Russian money.
But then
Yeah.
there was even that one point where Julian, was that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, Julian had a like a private detector sort of thing tapping the Pentagon
Yeah.
to get information on Hood.
Yeah,
And the minute
yeah.
she found out who it was,
He was like, nah, I'm
she was
out.
like, I'm out. Yeah. So
They'll keep the money.
He obviously has a reputation.
And earlier in the film, at the tattoo, he's searching for those people, and
he saw the
they see a
fucking-
tattoo on his arm, and some guy like says, "Thank you for your service," and leaves the room, and it almost happens for like a comical amount of time. You can hear like locks like slamming on the door, sort of thing.
I wondered what was going to happen then, but that you're right. That is him being like acknowledged early on.
Yeah,
Because it's like it is a bit of a mystery that when you watch this film for the first time, like
yeah. You don't know that he used to be a
auditor.
yeah,
An auditor.
yeah.
Well, yeah, that
I know that's what he is, obviously, for...
it's a funny use of the term because like auditing's obviously like if you're being sued, someone turns up and you have to accept being sued. So the job of an auditor is to get they walk into a room and say, "Are you Martin DeVerge?" And if you say yes, then you've accepted the audit.
Or in another very realistic scenario, if like in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, if you have a kid that isn't actually real and you're claiming benefits on that child, like Diaz,
Yeah.
then they'll come and
Audit you.
yeah, and then they fake and then to get out of that, you fake a baby
Situation.
funeral.
Yeah.
and-
Yeah, but then let's think about it. I also have an audit that happens for me.
It's-
For what? The
Some
job
sort of
that I
tax
do.
audit.
I think
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
just a general term for
Being
checking.
served.
Yeah, and well, isn't an audit when they come and check that, like they'll audit your taxes, so they check that everything's in line.
No. They check that.
I think audit just means check. Yeah.
Yeah.
They check if you, because you count all the work that you.
It's like a random check.
And see how much it all costs. They all know
Yeah.
how much it costs.
Well, as I think it's just like a funny play on the words because
Sure, it
he
is.
basically
Yeah.
says later.
It's tongue in cheek.
Basically, what I mean is, I'm the last guy that you ever want to see.
Yeah,
sort of
he-
thing.
You're well,
From
you
the
won't ever want to.
From the Bureau, the CIA's point of view, he's their auditor in the sense that he goes and checks that there's no loose ends after an operation.
Yeah.
It seems to be, he's like the cleanup man.
Yeah.
Or if somebody's like stealing money from the government, like he said, and he let him free after
And then he goes and like...
views him and he's like, oh, he's happy.
Yeah.
He's just almost jealous of the guy. Also, you guys haven't touched on the music.
Yeah.
The music. Holy shit. Every time there was a car chase scene or if there was like a fucking gun scene, the music in the background.
It was good, wasn't it?
Intense and so good.
Nice.
So good.
I just was thinking back to being in the cinema and thinking music that stood out to me. And I remember there being one scene, I think it was the one where he was in the boot of the car after Julian had sent people to the house. And it's almost like indie music that was playing. It was like an oddly off fucking genre style of music for the intensity of the scene. But it worked.
Maybe it was, maybe it was because that was from like the point of view of the
car.
The Russians sort of thing instead of his. I feel like a lot of the music plays out in his head because it's sort of from that, like, I've seen people on Letterboxd describe this as like dad rock, like this film sort of thing, and like a lot of the music is like probably from like that the era that guy would like.
You see
listen
that
to classic like slow motion shots with like
big explosions and big crunchy riffs.
Sort of thing.
You see that a lot when they're all fighting in that room.
Yeah.
Like every time, like
it's like the Aware.
The dad is just fucking.
You'll Never
shooting.
Walk Alone is playing at that point.
It's like the Aware version of what Iron Man did with the AC/DC songs.
Yeah.
That this film's like made about that concept.
Yeah.
Sort of thing, which is quite funny.
Yeah, when there's a car chase at the end and that Heartbreaker.
Yeah, I fucking love that.
That was so good.
That was
really
amazing.
Made me reappreciate that song.
What I loved about that scene as well is that he was like upset when he got away from them. There was like
he wanted it.
Yeah. He's like, oh fuck.
There's a few bits like that where
It's almost a bit of a Walter White complex.
You know that he wants it basically. Like the bus scene, which is his first like proper fight scene. The smile that he does when them like thugs like walk on the bus is so like he's like the happiest man in
and
the
what
whole
he's
world.
thinking in his head is like, God, please let them come in, please.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh, I'm about to fuck your ass up, bitch.
I like how it was like tongue in cheek, like he was hurt. He's not a superhero. He's just very good at what he does, but he's not like a god. He still gets hurt and stuff.
That was another element, I think, of the fights that made it so that you actually felt the violence and the pain, because he got twatted a few times, and he got fucking stabbed, bro. Yeah, he got stabbed, but he wasn't just like he wasn't untouchable sort of thing. Mm-hmm. He wasn't even really fast or anything like that. Well, like when he first, because before he punches anyone, he gets punched in the face. Yeah, like so.
But then he gets it back so much more, so much more.
Yeah,
and it kind of like
it's so satisfying. Just him like, pa! I'm like, oh my god, that bit when he grabs the fucking
baseball bat.
No, the pole in the
he rips like a pole from off the bus.
The
like
bus,
one of the handles sort of thing that people hold
and
on
he just
to.
fucking batters the gun out of his hand and just fucking eats him up.
There's a bit where he smashes someone around the head with a baseball bat, then he snaps the bat over his knee and jams the fucking handle into someone's face. I was like, Jesus Christ, man.
Oh, I love it.
It's Mortal Kombat
love
shit.
it. You know what I mean? Some fatalities on that shit.
Yeah.
Look at glee in your eye at the notion of blood and guts.
Look,
quite terrifying.
Look, okay? There's not been that many films where we watched where some shit like that happens. Do you know what I mean? This is probably once in a blue moon.
And you've blown your beans. Now it has happened.
Yeah, that's right. Don't fucking forget it. It's a fucking great film. I'm glad I went to see it.
Nice. Have you seen John Wick, by the way?
Yeah, all three, yeah.
Do you like them?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
fucking
amazing.
love
I've not seen them. I've heard good things.
John Wick.
Baba Yaga.
I think
oh my god.
The morals of John Wick is more... He was more wrong done by than Saul Goodman.
Yeah.
But Hutch Mansell, the morality of Hutch Mansell is very much like murky, I would say.
he doesn't really go back into it for like the right reasons.
Somehow I like him though.
Yeah, I like him.
But the John, they're so good. They're
Yeah.
so good.
And they're like, this is going to be wrong. They're not Disney films, are they?
No.
No.
What am I
John
thinking?
Carter?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
John Carter.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that.
Between
I've not
Mad
seen
Max,
it.
John Carter, and the one you were just talking about,
John Wick.
John Wick. I get those three franchises very mixed up.
Yeah, but it's not really a franchise. Is it? It's the same people that did The Matrix.
Which one?
John
No,
Wick.
it's the stuntman from. It's Keanu Reeves' stuntman on The Matrix who directs them.
Is it?
Yeah, and I believe the screenwriter of them, or of the first one at least, is the same screenwriter as.
But were the Wachowskis
Nobody.
involved?
But I don't think the Wachowskis are actually in. They might be like executive producers
You know,
or
I
something.
did see that Tobey Maguire was an executive producer of this film.
Really? I didn't see
Well,
that.
I just saw that in the credit. I don't know if it's the Tobey Maguire. Let me just.
It's definitely the Tobey Maguire.
It's got to be, hasn't it? Because
How many Tobey Maguires are there?
I don't in the film industry. I'm just not sure. Yeah, producer Tobey Maguire. Yeah, it's the Tobey Maguire.
That's cool. So I was wondering with this film, because obviously a lot of the films that you pick for the podcast are more like, just to use like a blanket term, like deep.
Yeah.
Whereas this is like a fighting film.
Yeah.
So what was it that made you pick this one? Was it?
This film made the list for a few different reasons. Number one, that it was kind of modern,
Yeah.
and that goes hand in hand with the fact that it had Bob Odenkirk in it, and it was something that he's not the director, but he's a producer.
Yeah.
And I think he was involved with the whole project. And I just respect Bob Odenkirk, basically. And I love what he's created across his whole career. He's responsible for a lot of stuff, and he doesn't specifically take credit. Like, he writes a lot of stand-up comedians' jokes and stuff like that.
Does he? Yeah. He's
So
a talented man.
Very talented man.
yeah, I was just interested to see him having his hands on a project, what he'd want to make.
Yeah.
At one point,
I bet this wasn't what you expected.
No,
No.
it
Come
wasn't
from
what
him.
I expected, but it was good visual storytelling.
Yeah.
it's a fucking good film. That's what that is.
It unraveled nicely in the sense that it worked on me. The setup, the bait and the switch, like believing that he was a pussy at the beginning,
Yeah.
not knowing what his past was and thinking he didn't want to get into it, and then coming around to realizing that, oh, he's a badass and he does want to get back in the game. That's satisfying storytelling.
Yeah.
At one point, I thought that he just was a family man, trying to get out the game. He was into some deep shit back in his youth.
It's kind of the opposite of John
Yeah.
Wick, because John Wick does want to get out of the game, I think, but whereas
He could have.
Hutch Mansell clearly doesn't want to get out of the
you
game.
No, he could have got out of the game though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
If he,
It
I'm
almost
not gonna
seems-
say anything because just
Have you
fucking
seen
ruined
it?
the
It
film.
almost seems like Hutch Mansell would have reverted back to his old lifestyle if something had popped up, but this was just the first time that someone had like invaded his
Giving him
house.
the opportunity.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like
It's like necessity.
yeah,
I feel like he went a little bit hard on on the people that came in, just because he already like gave him a free pass, which is fine because he like hit his son.
yeah. I was gonna say I think he just pistol whipped him because he
Yeah.
punched his son.
Yeah,
That was my thinking.
Have
but then he did it again.
Have you seen Falling Down, Liam?
Yeah, ages ago.
It reminded me. I didn't find the lead character of Falling Down particularly likable.
yeah.
I might have been able to empathise with his position to an extent, but not. He was a Mardy cocksucker, to be blunt.
Yeah,
Whereas,
he was bitter.
You're being blunt today, ain't you?
yeah, he was bitter about it. So
It's a bit like that's a bit of like a taxi driver scenario when he builds up all of the problems in
All
the
of the
world
problems,
when
yeah.
he is one of the problems himself, sort of thing.
yeah, definitely. And whereas this, you saw those problems building in Hutch
Yeah.
with his routine getting to him. But it's almost better that those routines are in place because Hutch needs those routines to not
go out there and fuck someone up.
Yeah.
I mean, he did get his wife back. I feel like at that point, she felt like, oh, damn, this guy will protect us.
Yeah, he got his wife back in the sense as well that he said earlier in the film that they hadn't had sex in like months and their relationship was...
It kind of inspired
falling apart.
them to get back into him being excited about the situation.
It turned him on.
Yeah, basically.
It did.
Which in turn turned her on.
Yeah. This is what I mean by it's an unashamed celebration of like more like surface pleasures, like just fucking punching someone in the face.
It's like The Incredibles to an extent as well, where it's like he had to hide going back to the old way for a bit, but it turned out it was actually better for the whole family to embrace.
And him wearing the suit was him expressing himself, sort of thing. And when he couldn't express himself, life was depressing.
He was in that tiny car, which is pretty much what the situation Hutch is in.
This is just how Hutch expresses himself.
Violently.
By killing other people.
The reason that he's violent is because the world around him is a bleak place.
But he could.
As soon as he
change it up.
So when he went to get the kitty cat bracelet back from the two that robbed his house at the start, and as soon as he saw a child involved, he
dipped out.
Left. He was like, "Fuck."
Didn't that bracelet turn out just to be under the sofa, and they never took
it did.
Yeah. So it makes the whole point moot.
That's another thing. The whole film is pointless.
Yeah.
Like there is actually no like point to this film, sort of thing.
It
all happened for no reason.
For some reason, I thought that they killed his family. I'm pretty sure I've read that somewhere, but like I just couldn't place him. Like, are they gonna die and he's gonna go on a fucking killing spree? But it's nothing like that. He just at all.
He just went on a killing spree anyway.
It is pretty simple. It's just he was given a reason to snap out of his routine.
Yeah.
Basically. And that's like...
How much money does he have, though? That's the real question. Because he just like...
He's got an endless amount of money.
He must have.
He's looked after by the state, you know.
Yeah, that's what I mean by like an endless amount. Like he couldn't run out of money, sort of thing.
Yeah.
He's catered for.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty...
He says even
done.
When he tries to quit his job, he's like, they weren't happy about me trying to leave, which implies he's one of a kind. He's the man for the job.
Yeah.
So to speak.
But how did he get out? Because shit like that, you know... might be wrong in saying, but like, if he's the guy that gets rid of the loose ends, isn't he already a loose end himself? So would they have sent someone to like get rid of already a loose end who also gets rid of loose ends?
So you want like a fucking nobody expanded universe? With
No.
Is that his...
No. What I meant, like,
they're too scared of him to tie up his loose end.
He's got to die of natural causes.
Yeah.
Or getting fucking bombed as you're sleeping.
Basically.
Imagine just drop a bomb on his house. Done.
I also liked Julian as a character.
Yeah.
He was a good
villain.
villain.
I liked it when at the start when there was a song playing and he snorted some coke and
off
like,
his
the
hands.
song like slowed down.
Yeah.
Like as soon as he snorted the coke.
I didn't notice that, you know.
Oh, it was good.
I was just laughing at how he needed that to go up and do that very small performance.
Yeah.
And he always does it. I like that bit when he's just sitting there eating whatever he was eating.
Watching the performance.
Yeah, just watching the performance.
Yeah. That's cool. It's a cool film.
Yeah.
There's a triple headshot from the Riz.
That was
Oh my god, that triple headshot, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my, this happening, like, it happened to me once when I was playing COD. Oh my god, it felt so good. It felt like
I've had
the world
Look,
fucking.
I've had a quad.
Stop.
Yeah,
Not a
we've all had
headshot.
triples.
I've had a quad with a noob tube.
A quad with a noob too.
Yeah. Declan Challoner was not happy because I stole his kills, apparently.
I can imagine that. What were we just saying about...
I don't know, bro.
Triple headshot.
Triple headshot, bro. Like, that shit was fucking amazing. As soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I gotta talk about this shit.
The RZA just made me laugh how he just appeared at the end of the film. Obviously, his voice was in the film. And that's his old mate from back in the day, which again does imply...
No, it's his brother.
That's his brother.
Yeah.
There's a picture at one point in the film with like a younger Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, there is, and they're next to one another.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just
Obviously,
trying to
one of them's got to be adopted, presumably.
There's no talk of a mother.
No.
Yeah, true.
So he might have adopted both of them. Who knows?
Yeah, that was the impression I got. They were like orphans, and he like trained them to be like
real good
beasts.
I like that it pikes questions like that.
Yeah.
It leaves some things like some rocks unturned.
I reckon there'll definitely be a sequel.
You think so?
Yeah.
I thought about that as well.
Because there's 4 John Wicks. Well, there's 3 out there making the 4th one now, and this is
with
by
the same
the
with the Matrix.
Yeah, like I think it's by the same writers. I imagine they've got the same kind of plan for this as they have for John Wick.
That'd be pretty mad to see them turn this into a thing.
Yeah, I would definitely be
Bob
here for a
Odenkirk
sequel.
becomes a poster boy, like
Yeah,
an action hero.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
He makes a good action hero.
Yeah.
I think it's
He does.
In this film.
well, back in the day of action heroes, he would have been a very unlikely candidate for an action hero. But in this day and age,
he reminds me a lot of like the Punisher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I don't know if you guys
I've not seen The Punisher.
The Punisher. But
No.
it's sort of the same deal, but different. He was an army man who got set up and
Punishes.
no, somebody tried to kill him and his family. They killed his family, but failed to kill him, even though he got shot in the head.
Classic superhero. Then.
Yeah, he got shot in the head,
they
came
all
back.
have to have dead families.
Yeah, basically.
it's a prerequisite.
Yeah.
Anyway, that happens. He recovers, and then he just goes on a fucking killing spree of all these bad guys. They call him the Punisher, but he never kills any like innocent people.
Ah, I see.
Yeah,
He's
just
he's
the
that is-
bad.
that is
He's a
bad guys.
good-hearted man.
Huh?
That is similar then.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that films like this and John Wick, they, with their like use of like stunts, like real stunts and stuff, they go back to like these like date back to like the start of cinema.
Yeah.
Like the silent era, like stuntmen like Buster Keaton.
I was just about to say Buster Keaton. And
Yeah.
Buster Keaton.
Buster Keaton would do crazy shit like, I don't know, ladders are a good example. Who'd like run at a fence with a ladder and balance it on the fence in
Yeah.
a manner that he'd like go over the fence whilst policemen were chasing him and they'd all smash into the fence.
Yeah.
It's like Tom and Jerry but in real life.
Yeah, and he's got films with like train
Train
chases and stuff, and he's just like hanging off the back of like trains and shit like that, like
But
doing all his own stunts.
The way they achieved, it's a whole art constructing
Yeah.
that stuff. There is some Buster Keaton film. He's from like the 1920s and 30s.
I've watched quite a lot of
You
his.
got a lot of them on.
There's a couple of Keaton films on the list. More Chaplin. Charlie
More
Chaplin.
Chaplin. Yeah.
Chaplin's films had more of like a narrative,
Yeah. I
and Keaton's were more
physical.
facilitating the
story through.
visuals sort of
Yeah.
thing. Like the story was facilitating the outrageous stunts sort of thing, whereas Chaplin was more
His films had a
personal
point.
comedy.
His film had like.
Yeah, Modern Times is like
I saw The Great Dictator when I was quite
they
young.
are all yeah.
And I remember distinctly how passing of time is portrayed in that film because it starts in World War One.
Oh, does it? I've seen it. I just not for a long time.
Yeah, I've not seen it since that viewing, and
Yeah.
it's mad how much I remember of it. It was the first time I'd ever seen like Hitler portrayed on film.
Yeah.
So that's why it stuck with me. But it starts in World War One, and then you see
Hitler wasn't even dead when that film came out. I'm pretty sure that's 1940,
Really? That's
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
When did he die?
45. It was early Hitler, really. Well, in terms of World War II.
Early
As far as things like that go.
Yeah.
But it's always like we watched Bicycle Thieves a few episodes back, and when a film can still resonate today that was like nearly 100 years old.
It's crazy.
That's mad. That's
It's
when
crazy.
it's mad when the message still stands. Because there's some films
That's
you can
why.
watch.
Just telling you, you can't die without a legacy. You can't just disappear into nothing. You gotta have like a way to touch people's hearts so
You
that
know
they can remember you.
That the
for as
Egyptian
long.
people, ancient Egyptian people,
Build pyramids.
well, they had an idea. Obviously, they built big statues of emperors.
Car.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ka, and that would be
Sun god.
No, that's Ra.
Ra. Yeah.
Ka,
Ka.
Ka, is the concept of how much you're remembered after you're dead. And
Right.
that would apparently extend your time in the afterlife. How much people spoke about you post-death. And that's why the pharaohs were building fuck-off statues. So it was like, they'll always remember me if that's over them.
Yeah. But people can take that down. Do you know what I mean? After you're dead, could take it down.
So
Nobody
what can you do
remember-
to leave a permanent influence?
That's right. That's what we mean.
Songs work.
Maybe.
Modern times, just to slam back into the what we
Into
were talking
the-
about a second
yeah, yeah.
ago with no just completely unseemly.
Go.
But Modern Times by Chaplin crosses me as like an Oland film.
It's on the list. It definitely it's there.
Why is it an
Just from
Oland
that
film?
name right there, I can tell that it's a comment on what the modern times of his day were.
It's all set in like a factory, and so obviously it's like the dawn of
Industrial
technology.
Yeah, and all that.
like overtaking human jobs, but just technology that doesn't work very well.
Oh,
And it's got like a I seem to remember it had like a proper steampunk vibe to it. It seemed like it was almost Gilliam-esque sort of thing.
fantastic.
So that's why I think you'll be a big fan. And all
Yeah.
Chaplin films are like 80 minutes long,
yeah.
and all Buster Keaton films are less than an hour.
Have you seen? This is just going off on a tangent for the era of films that we're talking about. But have you seen a film called Suspense?
No.
It's like a short.
Yeah, none of these films I've seen.
Yes, you have seen Suspense. I have shown you Suspense.
Have you?
For the short, it's the one about the tramp that breaks into the lady's house.
I have seen that one.
Yeah, it's from like 1913. It's like
Really?
that old. And
Nice.
It's literally that is what happens. A man leaves the house and leaves a woman alone at home, and a
With the
tramp
baby.
breaks into the house with the baby. And the way it's just called Suspense because suspense
that
is
is-
created,
yeah.
and it's her realizing that there's someone in the house. But the way that this tramp is portrayed, it's awful.
Yeah.
It is scary. I think it still works.
Really?
And
I feel like that's the kind of horror that like David Lynch brings to his stuff, like the really old style, like
just like
dirty, like
the wall jump in Mulholland Drive.
What's-
There's nothing that shot behind
that in the diner?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the diner scene. There's nothing about that should really be inherently scary.
that's what I thought of when you said like a dirty tramp sort of thing. I don't
Yeah.
even know if you did say dirty, but you said like a
yeah, and it's like in The Return as well. The gotta light
yeah,
those
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
The Woodsman, I think they're called, and there is just something creepy. Because it's like a human being that's not looking after themselves. Like, why are they doing that?
Yeah.
Like
You get a lot of that kind of imagery in films from like the 20s and stuff like that. Like sometimes when I'm watching a film from like the 20s, I just feel a bit dirty.
you see it on their face, all grubby.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff we were saying this because in Bicycle Feed,
I almost feel like I can smell it. Sort
there's a
of thing.
bit
Smell
where
it.
it's pissing it down, and he's got a wound. Do you remember the bit I'm talking about when they run to dry? The son and the dad, they run to the edge of a building to get dry, and he's hurt himself, and he's got this like bloody rag wrapped around his
Really?
hand, but he just unwraps it and just wipes his face with it to get all
Oh,
this sweat and
yeah.
water off, and like just during COVID.
No, that wasn't it.
What you go on? You remember?
He gave his son the
It was a handkerchief
like a handkerchief.
that he blew his nose in, and then just
Oh,
gives it to
God.
his son or something.
Yeah, and he just uses it to fucking wipe himself down, but he already used it
Yes.
on himself first.
And it was the nonchalantness about.
Yeah.
It
It
just
was like, oh yeah, oh, what's
normal.
happening? Yeah, but
No, that is mad interesting. But yeah, we're probably coming to the end of this episode of It's Not That Deep. What closing thoughts?
go on, Liam. Here's up with your closing thoughts.
No, you do closing thoughts first and let me think about it.
Yeah, mine. You
Okay. The film was fantastic. All right,
Nice.
visuals,
I did think-
music, action, just everything I wanted in a film.
It's ticked Martin's box.
I thought
That's
before
right.
we went to see it, this is like Martin's territory more than it is Olin's territory.
Oh,
sort of thing.
100%. And Olin doesn't have a lot of these films on his list.
This
Yeah.
is on the list.
No, I mean, we don't have a lot of these type of films.
I've got loads
on
of
the list.
suggestions of films that I want to
Like this.
like this, kind of like this.
I give you a password to my letterbox, Liam. You can just add stuff to the list if you want.
Can do if you
Yeah.
don't mind. I'm not going to add anything too like
Yeah.
obscure or
Nothing
anything.
scary. That's all
Just-
I ask.
What do you mean by
Well,
scary?
no, don't ask that question.
Okay,
we'll have this
yeah.
conversation off mic because that's a whole another 40 minutes of talk.
But yeah,
Anyway.
there's films I'd love to show you guys that I think would be more your stomping ground, but they wouldn't just be like pointless action films. I'd be bringing them on for like a reason.
I can
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
what we to bring on to my closing thoughts. I was very content with that film. I felt like not that I paid admission price because Liam sorted out a fantastic
Situation right there.
situation
I've got
right there,
connections.
but it felt worth the admission price,
Yeah.
worth the popcorn price. I tell you that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
100%.
definitely a very narratively satisfying film by the end of it, sort of thing.
And I'll remember. I think it will leave an impression on me, and that is always what I'm looking for. So it's been a successful venture in my eyes.
Nice.
That's what I like to hear. Liam, you're the last man standing.
My last thoughts would just be that this probably would be like a 6.5 out of 10, just from like the.
You said 7 earlier.
Yeah, it is.
It could
All
be
right.
anywhere
This
from
probably would be
6.5
like a
to 8.5, in my opinion. It varies.
Basically, this rises like an extra rating because the action's just done right,
Yeah.
sort of thing. And earlier we were talking about Phantom Thread, and I was saying Paul Thomas Anderson did his research in like the fashion world, sort of thing. And,
Yeah.
and Daniel Day-Lewis did as well, and it rang true in the film.
Mm.
These films, they're not like art films like that, but you've got Bob Odenkirk talking about the types of guns. Like, you just see little details, like on the mine bomb that he holds, it says point at enemy or something like that, which is something that I never attributed to like a landmine like that, but presumably that's like a real detail.
Because it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt very real. And
Yeah, and well
committed.
researched for an action film. And even though those details, that was a Magnum 45, 10mm or whatever.
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
though
yeah.
that shit means nothing to me, just hearing it being said is like cool because it's like this is well researched and it adds like texture to the film, sort of thing.
Sells it better.
Yeah, and like that and this and films like John Wick as well. Like they're
They're
just
very
above.
detailed, like everything. Just like
Do you remember? Have you seen The Raid?
Yeah,
I literally just seen that film 2 days
the
ago.
first Raid is.
That's what I've seen.
Yeah, that's pure. That's just visceral.
That is-
like,
yeah.
Choreograph
Yeah.
of the violence and how it's choreographed in that is pretty spectacular.
yeah, that's a great film.
It is a great film. I can't wait to see number 2. I want to see it. Are
Hmm.
they on the list?
They are. Well, I've seen the first one, so I don't know if the first one's on there, but you've seen the first one.
Yeah.
So we only need to do the second one. So
Yeah.
the second one is on the list, I think.
But I
Sounds
might
good
watch
in
it
my
beforehand anyway.
Just to put a downer on it.
What?
I don't like the second one as much.
Do you know?
We'll have to have you on for that episode.
It's not
Fair
bad.
enough.
The first one's just purely contained like pure cinema, pure action.
Yeah, I remember a
second one's got
specific
too much
scene
plot, in
in
my
that
opinion.
first Raid film where it's like a fucking long shot of a corridor and it's panning along him making his way along this corridor and people are just coming at him from this angle and he's just fucking each and
every
single
person.
person that's coming
Oh.
in a fantastically fashionable way as well.
It's
Yeah.
a fucking good film.
But yes, thank you so much for Liam. Thank you so much for being here.
That's all right.
Thank you. We
Always a
appreciate it.
pleasure, never a chore.
That's right.
Anytime you want to come on, you're welcome.
I'll
That's
be
right.
back next week.
You're gonna be a permanent member of the
third co-host.
That's right.
So
the MIP boys.
But until next time, thank you so much for listening. Go check us out at MIP. You type that into anywhere. You type MIP into Spotify, you're going to find this podcast. You type MIP into YouTube, you're going to find what we're doing there. You type mipltd.org into your browser and you're going to get our website. We're going to end this episode with my debut single. My name is Oland, and this is my take on Frank Sinatra's classic Fly Me to the Moon.
Fantastic. You're killing it.
On Jupiter and Mars. Yeah.